The Dead Pair Podcast is brought to you by Kolar Arms, America's competition shotgun, and is fueled by Fiocchi.
Welcome to the Dead Pair Podcast, coming in hot with everything you want to hear about sporting clays. With your hosts, Jason Rambo.
This is what I have to work with, everyone.
And Sean Alley.
Like I said, I was just thirsty.
Oh, boy.
Often imitated, but never duplicated. It's the Dead Pair Podcast. It's showtime.
Welcome back, everyone, and welcome to the show, Mr. Jake Spengler. How is South Carolina, my friend?
Chase, it's good. The weather's broke. We're warm, kind of like you. Targets are in the air. Just prepping for everything. Made it through our CYSF event. Looking good, my friend.
Well, I tell you what, it was 87 when I left here Friday. I got to Minnesota, and it was 30 degrees the next morning. And I'm like, I opened the door. I'm like, nope, that's it. I want to go back home. So, but no, I went to Minnesota. The Midway USA Foundation had a 400-person charity shoot, and I went up there and, you know, kind of work with them on it. It was really impressive. It really was.
Yeah, that's a big shoot.
Yes.
That's a big shoot. One day, 2 days.
It was one day, but they filled up so much that they actually pushed back into Friday and ran squads on Friday because it was so full.
Good.
The club only had one course. Huh? Yeah. But raised $200,000 for youth shooting. That's awesome.
That is awesome.
So what's been new with you, Jake? You're playing in the sand, or you kind of got some dirt there?
Yeah, we got a little bit of dirt. Mostly sand, but just outings, right? It's that time of year. Corporate outing season. It's kind of like you're witnessing. It's a little warmer than it is in Minnesota.
Yeah.
So season's in full swing for a couple of months till it gets too hot, which will happen somewhere around July. And then we'll pick back up mid-August and keep it rolling. The big thing is figure out what we're going to do July and August.
There you go. Hey, real quick, everyone, for those that were wanting both Flex Fit hats and Flat Bill hats, now have them up on our Dead Pair swag page if you want to go get a Flat Bill or a Flex Fit hat. I know I was harassed about that for the longest time. Finally switched up some embroidery so we can make that happen, but those are now available.
Like the one you got on your biscuit?
Yeah, the one I got on my biscuit. This is a Flex Fit that I'm wearing right now. Couple different color options on both of them. I think black and black camo and navy blue or something like that. Pretty cool. They fit nice, comfortable. But get over there, get you a hoodie, get you a shirt, get you a hat. And just so y'all know, I priced everything, so I'm making absolutely about nothing on them. But I wanted everybody to have them. People have been asking for a long time about shirts and hats and hoodies and all that kind of stuff. So, and love getting the Dead Pair word out there. So get over and get you some of that. Jake, what's coming up next for you, man? I know everything's been starting to get into full swing. Do you got any big tournaments coming up?
Nothing huge. Just keeping it business as usual until December, and then we'll unleash the Dead Pair Blast, and that'll be our first big one, hopefully, of the year.
Should I tease everybody a little bit about what could be in front of the Dead Pair Blast? Should I don't know how much of that bomb I can drop yet, but
I wouldn't do that.
Okay, all right. I was kind of excited about it, man. I want to let everybody know. But.
Yeah, I know, but let's let it know later when we have all the details.
All right. Well, just know that something big's coming right in front of the Dead Pair Blast. So, and get over and get signed up for that too. Now, one thing I did want to bring up about that, Jake, you and I talked the other day. If somebody wants to come in and shoot all of the main in one day, currently the way it's set up in Score Chaser, they can't do that, but you have a way you can make that happen, correct?
Yeah, when you register, you just need to tell the ladies at registration, hey, I'm shooting the main in both days. So they're shooting an early rotation. I think our earliest rotation's 9 days. If you want to shoot the second one in the afternoon, just say, hey, I want to shoot my second main event this afternoon, and they'll get you taken care of.
Okay, so it is possible. They can shoot the main in one day. Okay, cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I had some people that can't get off work on Friday. They want to attend. They want to shoot the main, but, Score Chaser wouldn't let them do it. So, but now we know there is a way to do it.
There is a way.
Good deal. Well, listen, we are talking to Mr. Braxton Oliver tonight. He is your 2026 world champion. Congratulations to him. We're going to hear from him firsthand how things went because it was a little bit of a roller coaster for him. I'm anxious to dive into this and see what he's got to say. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to attend the event, which I think I've got more heat for than any other event I've never attended. But yeah, it was just the way travel's been here lately. I'm going to be gone basically 14 weeks out of this year, which is nothing compared to what these other guys do. But for, somebody that's not a top level shooter, that's a lot. That's a lot of traveling. But anyway, let's get Braxton on the phone, see what he's got to say. I'm anxious to hear about this world championship.
The Dead Pair.
Everyone, help me in welcoming the 2026 World Sporting Clays champion, Mr. Braxton Oliver. What's up, Braxton?
Not a whole lot. How are you guys?
I'm doing good. You got Jake Spengler joining us this evening.
Good evening, Braxton. Congrats, my friend.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Braxton, has it finally sunk in yet? I know we're, probably about a week out from when it all went down. Is it sunk in yet that you're the world champion right now?
I think it finally started sinking in a couple of days ago. I'm still getting used to being called world champion. Everyone you talk to, how's it going, world champ? And I'm still getting used to that, but it's still, I think it's finally sunk in a little bit at least.
Yeah, I mean, for those that don't know Braxton personally, like I do, he's a humble individual. So I could see you like grappling with that, like, really? Everybody's calling me champ?
Yeah.
So, well, Braxton, I want to kind of dive into a little bit. Talk about the weeks leading up to the Worlds. Did you do any specific training, or was it just kind of like business as usual with you?
It was definitely more like business as usual. I mean, really, I probably went out and shot a couple practice rounds with some friends 2 weeks prior to the Worlds. And, I set some good targets on our course, and we went around and each probably shot a flat, stepping out of the boxes on our course and, shooting from way back, trying to shoot some bigger targets, getting ready for it.
Yeah.
And the week prior, I didn't shoot a clay target at all. Matter of fact, we had a USHA Halise event at our club. And the last thing I shot before I stepped into my first event at the Worlds was I shot 3 days worth of Halise.
Really?
And we had a good time with that, but that was about as far as my preparations for the World went.
It always amazes me. I've heard this story from, a few guys at the top of the game like you. And I say it amazes me because, mere mortals like myself, when we're coming up to an event, we train more and, we train in between and all that stuff. But you guys have such a target catalog. I've actually heard from some of you that it's counterproductive to go train before a big event. Do you feel that same way?
I think it's counterproductive to go out and overextend yourself.
Okay.
Practicing before an event. It works well for me, and I think it works well for many others that going out and just shooting enough to stay comfortable in the gun, just shoot enough to make sure you're still moving the gun well is really all that most of us really need at the top level.
Yeah.
And there's always different personalities. People do different things. There are some people who go out and shoot several thousand rounds the week before, and it works for them. But for myself and what I think a handful of us, the way we are, is just try not to overextend it. We just want to stay good enough in the gun to where we stay comfortable going into the event. And then we kind of cut loose throughout the event.
Yeah. I was watching the scores come in. Of course, unfortunately, I wasn't there, which, by the way, I got more heat for that than any 10 events in the last 10 years combined. But I was watching the scores come in, and I was also getting reports from people at the shoot. So talking about day one of the main for you, Braxton, on the green course, I had a call that a very well-known shooter stated that they were happy with their performance being down like 5 or 6 targets. And then you go out and straight the course. I was like, damn. I mean, so talk about that. I mean, was it just flowing for you? Were the targets right up your alley? I mean, were you just dialed, or what was going on? What was going through your mind on day one?
Day one, coming off the side events early in the week, I went into it with low expectations. And really, I was just telling myself to get through the first couple of stands. And we started on station 9 on green, which had a good tower bird and a Batu. True pair, not, the tower had a little distance on it. Neither target were over the top. So I was just telling myself, okay, let's try to get through the first one. We get the first one, we can knock the nerves out and kind of reset ourselves and try to build a score. And that's pretty much where I stayed the entire day. I kept my head down. I was trying to read everything, make sure I was shooting everything where I could see it the best. And as we got around the course, we started getting into the backstretch, and nothing really changed. I just tried to be as consistent as I could all the way through the course, just run another station, run another station, run another station.
Yeah.
So it didn't really feel like I was going out there to try to do anything special. I just went out there to do everything the way I was supposed to. And it just so happened that by the end of that round, I did everything right.
Nice.
So, Braxton, consistency in your game is always, when you look at leaderboards, it shoots you a 10, right? You're going to be up there. Clearly, this is the biggest win you've ever had, right? It's going to be the biggest win maybe in your lifetime. I don't know how you gauge all that stuff. But how is it that you stay so consistent, not just through the course of the round, but over the course of 3 days, and then a 25 target super final?
Oof.
We ask the tough questions here, Brax.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think consistency is one of the biggest things that I take a lot of pride in my shooting. Winning tournaments is a big deal. Winning major tournaments is an even bigger deal. If I shoot 10 tournaments, I'm not going to win all 10. What I don't want to do is win one and not even be within eyesight of the top of the leaderboard in the other 9.
Yeah.
That's actually a big fear of mine, So I love being consistent. If I shoot 10 tournaments and I win one, great. The other 9, I want to stay in the top 5.
Right.
And I try to keep that mindset in every tournament, every event. There's a couple rounds where aggravation or fatigue might get to you, and I'm not as consistent as I usually be, but I try my best to stay in that top of the top echelon. I like trying to stay in top 10, top 5 in every event that I can.
Well, let's talk about that consistency. So you straighted on day 1. Day 2, you were on the orange course, and you only dropped 1 target. I mean, looking at it from home, I'm thinking, just give him the title. It's over. So is it just more of, okay, we're carrying that consistency through?
Yep.
Okay.
The second day was a lot more relaxed than the first.
Really?
The second day, I was 100% feeding off the first day.
Okay.
There was a lot of confidence in the second day came from the first day. So when I went out on the second day, it wasn't, okay, let's try to build a score. It was, all right, you've got it. Keep your head down. Keep doing the same thing over and over.
Yeah.
And truthfully, the second day, I had a ball. My girlfriend and my mom flew in Friday night after I had ran the green course. So they flew in Friday night. We got to have like a little celebration that night. They finally made it. And then going out there the second day, I shot the entire week with my dad. So he was already there with us. He was already on my squad. So the second day when we went out on the orange course, dad, girlfriend, we were all there. We were all having a good time. Just, spirits were really high. And the second day just felt like a breeze. But I just had to keep my head down and keep doing the same thing I did the first day.
Yeah. Well, then here it came, right? I'm watching scores roll in, and I'm thinking he's going to be clear of everybody. And then it happened, right? Mm-hmm. Like on the yellow course, it seemed like the wheels kind of came off a little bit. You ended up dropping 13 on that course. Can you walk us through what happened? Was it just the pressure? Was it just things weren't flowing? Did something happen outside the shoot? Tell us how that went for you.
It was a combination of a perfect storm. Coming off Saturday, only dropping 1. I think shooting that round initially, we were all thrilled.
Yeah.
But the longer I had to sit with the thought that I'm shooting really well. I hadn't looked at the full scores yet at the end of the second day, but I was like, I'm shooting really well. I said, this could happen. And the longer that sat in my mind as it went on through Saturday night, I can tell you, I never went to sleep.
Really?
I didn't sleep 1 second Saturday night.
Well, that explains everything. Holy cow.
Yep. The nerves started setting in. The pressure started setting in. in Sunday morning, I didn't have anything to shoot. We shot the 1 p.m. flight in the main event, so I had to sit with that all morning, Sunday morning before the round. And when we started that last round, I was certainly a lot more nervous than I had been the entire week.
Yeah.
And the targets, the yellow course by far were harder than the other two. I think all three courses were great courses. The yellow, even though it was harder, wasn't anything in particular that threw me off my game. I still felt like I could run all the stations, but the more that pressure kept setting in station after station, and I wasn't bombing stations. I started off on station 9 on yellow. I dropped one. Went to station 10, missed the last target. Went to station 1, I missed one on the last pair. Station 2, I missed one on the last pair again. So it was kind of just not good enough in finishing those stations. And a lot of that was just the nerve and the pressure going into the last pair on each stand. After the first 4, that's when everything started snowballing. That's when I started misreading targets. A couple of outside factors, such as, people, you starting to get spectators following you around, spectators on the course,
Right.
Having to be able to pretty much avoid people to try to stay in the game and not let it snowball anymore. And at one point it finally kind of all got to me, but still, I think there was only one station that I had a really bad stand, and that was the one time out of the 3 days that I completely threw my entire game plan out the window. So that whole part of keeping my head down and staying consistent, finally it got to me on one station. That went out the window. I think I dropped 3 on one station, and then I went back to the cart and kind of had to calm myself back down a little bit to shoot the last 2 stands. And we finished out, shot a 53. I dropped, I shot a 186 in the main event. I dropped 13 on one course.
Wow.
And I think it's just a perfect example of letting that pressure and the anxiety, throw that on top of not having any sleep, dealing with outside distractions.
Yeah.
So I think it was just all kind of a perfect storm going throughout that whole last round.
Yeah. I mean, I trust me, nowhere near the pressure you were dealing with there, but I kind of get it, right? I mean, I think a lot of people that's been that shoots tournaments often gets to that point where you start doing everything from barrel checking. You're just not flowing, right? You're not shooting effortlessly. You're putting so much into every single movement, and yeah, it can snowball on you real quick, right?
Yep, certainly.
So, okay. So now we go into the super final, which I got to watch live. So, okay, Braxton, you have to walk us through this because I was able to have a phone conversation the other day with David Radulovich, and he told me that your level of composure, focus, and calmness was just unreal in that super final. Like something switched between the main event course and then walking into that super final. He was like, man, his level of focus, I hate the saying, but being where your feet are and just being calm. He's like, dude, he goes, it was something that I just haven't witnessed. So what happened, and tell us what was going through your head in that super final.
So between the final round and the super final, I can give him some of the credit for that.
Oh no, don't do that. His head's going to get bigger than it already is, Brax. Come on, bud. No.
Oh, it's already massive. I think he can handle it. I give him some of the credit for it. He come up and spoke to me after the final round. He gave me a little bit of advice and a lot of encouragement, and a lot of people did, which I'm very appreciative of. A lot of my fellow competitors come up to me and gave me a lot of encouragement. And it kind of, once we realized that, okay, I didn't screw up, it was a pretty bad round, but I didn't completely take myself out of it.
Yeah.
We figured out I'm still in the super final, had a lot of nice words with other shooters. David's one of them. And it kind of put me at ease a little bit after that final round. And with a little of advice from him and a couple others, we went back to the house, our Airbnb, and I kind of had some time to relax and think about it. Finally, we made our way back out to the range. A lot of the other shoot-offs were going on. So I'm finally calmed back down, and I said, well, if I sit down, I'm going to do just like I did last night. If I sit down and just wait for the super final, all these thoughts are going to stick in my brain.
Yeah.
And it's just going to sit there and keep going over and over and over. And I didn't want to kind of put that kind of pressure on me. So, my family, they all went and found spots in the bleachers. And then I just went around. I talked to people. I kept myself busy. I kept that thought of, being in the super final, possibly winning the worlds, or the opposite of that, completely bombing the super final and falling out completely.
Right.
So I just walked around, kept myself busy. I found people, had conversations, found some folks. We talked about hunting, found some folks and talked about, hockey. We're big hockey fans. Carolina Hurricanes are still in the playoffs. So I kept myself busy the entire time. And when it came time for the shootout, the super final, no nerves. It was all business.
Nice.
I felt relaxed. I felt calm. I felt, being in the super final, being on that stage with the other people that were there, I felt at peace with it. I've done 2 really great days, 1 subpar day that, hurt me a little bit, but I'm here. I'm in the super final. For the first time in my life at a world championship, I'm at the top 6. This is the final stage where I can finally put it all together. And that gave me a lot of confidence going into the super final.
And I got to give you big props there, because that's a mental giant in itself. So many people, and myself included, would have been like, man, I was leading all week and I threw it away. I just lost the world championship, and would have had that kind of attitude instead of what you did of, look, I got to find a way to reset, right? Like, I got to get, let's not sit here and dwell on this. Like, let's go try to put ourselves in a better mood and, think about something else for a little bit. And you totally reset and walked in there. So, I mean, that's, props, Brax. That's mental giant right there, dude, to be able to do that. So many people will just let the poor performance in the last leg of the main just eat them up, So, I mean, that's incredible, man. Braxton, you and I, I called you on Monday morning to congratulate you. And one of the things you said, and I want you to really lay it out there, is, you said to me, Jason, people don't realize how big this was for not only me, but my family. Talk about that for a minute and what exactly it meant for your family.
So I guess the best way for people to understand is I kind of have to go back to where shooting in my family all started.
Okay.
My grandfather, Larry Corbett, he started shooting trap and skeet, I believe maybe the late 70s, early 80s. After a few years of that, he got into sporting clays. He shot back in the mid 80s, late 80s under the USSCA.
Yep.
Later on, NSCA come along in 1989. They joined that as well and shot NSCA. So he started shooting pretty early on, when not quite when it first came to the U.S., but not long after. Over the years, my grandmother shot, my uncle shot, my mother got into shooting. When my dad met my mom, he worked at the farm for my grandfather. They went to high school together. He got into shooting. And over the years, of course, later on, we came along, all of us kids, me, my brother, and my sister, we all shot. But throughout those years, my grandfather became multi-time state champion. He won, I know he won the Nationals as a veteran. I believe he won the Nationals as a super vet. He also won the World Sporting as a veteran, and he won the World FITAS as a super vet. My mother was a 4-time North Carolina Lady State Champion. Her and my grandfather both are in the North Carolina Sporting Clays Hall of Fame. My dad, for well over 30 years, has been involved with the shooting. He's been in and out of Masterclass. I like to pick on him. I think he's made Masterclass more than anybody in the country. I think he's been in and out of Masterclass probably, I think, 5 times at this point. So our family, and we've always ran a gun club. My grandfather ran a gun club, Rose Hill Farm. My parents now run Hunters Point here in Little Washington, North Carolina. So we have a long history in sporting clays in North Carolina, and my grandfather loved shooting. He was a farmer, grew tobacco, had cows, chicken houses, and ran a shooting range. So the 2 things he loved the most were sporting clays and our family. And our family always loved shooting. Our family still loves shooting. So for him to do all the great things that he did, really got all of us grandkids into shooting. And he took me everywhere. Him and my grandmother, they took me all across this country, shot every U.S. Open, Nationals, regional, anything I wanted to shoot. They took me to every shoot I ever asked to go to. I got to practice as much as I wanted. I got to shoot every weekend. I got to shoot every day. He would go pull for me. My grandmother would come pull for me. We would do everything. And we lost him back in 2020. So that was I won my first state title in 2018, which meant a lot to us.
Mm-hmm.
We lost him in 2020. I had just won my second state title, and I believe he passed about a week later.
Wow.
So since then, it's been a roller coaster of emotions because I've won some pretty good stuff since then. A lot of it, I wish he was around for. He always said, "You're going to be a world champion." He never really pushed me to world champion, but he always gave me everything I wanted and needed to try to get there. So for him and my grandmother and my parents and everybody to do all that they have for me and my shooting over the years, winning this world championship was a huge honor, but it was something that I always wanted to do for him.
Yeah.
To give back to him, to continue his legacy and what he's done for us and my family.
You spoke about everything as we. It wasn't I. We finished. We got to the gun club. You could just tell that it was a culmination of several lives worth of sacrifice. It's pretty much.
Yep. And so it's a big honor, and it's something that. So this whole shooting journey for my entire family and I started with him. And like I said, he did a lot of great things, but one thing he was always proud of was all of us, all of his kids, all of his grandchildren, and all of us, my parents, me, my brother, my sister, my uncle, everything we do, we want to do to give back to him for all that he's done for us. So winning this world title was a very big deal, very emotional deal for all of us.
Well, Braxton, everybody here is proud of you, right? Like your family, like every one of them is proud of you, your girlfriend, everybody. But the one you made smile the most, I guarantee, is Grandpa. I guarantee it. I mean, so, dude, you should be proud of what you've done, and I guarantee he's proud of you. I think it's awesome, Braxton. I mean, look, you and I have been talking for 6-7 years now, and I've always thought, you were an outstanding individual and a great shooter, and I think this was well deserved. I really do. I mean, you've came close a lot to a lot of things, nationals, world championships, and you did it, man. I mean, congratulations, man. Sincerely. I mean, that's
thank you.
So awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Jake, did you have something you wanted to ask Braxton?
No, just for the listeners, you won't meet more humble, fantastic group of people outside the Olivers. I'm telling you that right now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You just won't.
Yep. No, Braxton and his family are just outstanding people.
And it's wonderful that he's relatively close to me now, which is even better, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know if I told you this, Jake, but Braxton told me the other day we're probably, as long as he can pull it off, he's going to try and make the Dead Pair Blast in December down there. So that's awesome, man. I'm looking forward to that. Braxton, I've interviewed you a couple of times on the show, and I'm not going to drag you through the ringer with the rapid fire. We've already done that. But one thing I've never got a chance to ask you, and this is the perfect podcast to ask you. How do you want to be remembered in this sport?
Another tough question, Braxton.
It's a tough question, and I have the answer for it. I'm just trying to think of the best way to put it. I just want to be remembered as one of the good guys. I just want to be remembered as a good person, a good competitor, someone that was well liked. You know, if I go the rest of my career and this is the only major win I have, so be it. But I want to go down in history as probably one of the most respected and likable people in the sport.
You're well on your way, brother.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, Braxton, I'm going to be honest with you, man. And you and I have talked about it. I hear so much crap in this industry, right? I've never, ever heard one negative word about you, your family, a performance, anything to do. I mean, dude, you're probably one of the most liked people in the sport, and it's good. It's for good reason, man. I mean, you're good people, and man, I'm super happy for you. I mean, this fits your character perfectly, and you deserve this. Hey, Brax, real quick before we let you go, and I promised I'd keep this one short and sweet with you, but are you still doing some coaching there at the club?
Absolutely.
Okay. If somebody's looking for a way to get a hold of you, I mean, I'm sure now your phone's really going to blow up. But how do people find you? Tell people where to go to find your club, website, that kind of thing.
You can reach out to me personally on any of my social medias, Facebook, Messenger. You know, some of the younger kids hit me up on Snapchat. Outside of that, our home club is Hunters Point Sporting Clays. We're in Washington, North Carolina. You can reach out to Hunters Point on Facebook or give us a call.
Awesome. And the funniest part about all this, Jake, with Braxton, such a humble, good dude. And he listens to music that makes you want to run over a train car full of little puppies.
Absolutely loves the heavy stuff, dude.
Yes.
Yep.
I love it.
I love my heavy dark music.
Yes. Do you listen to that before you shoot, Brax?
I listen to that pretty much all the time.
Do you really? That's so cool.
I do. Yep.
Yeah, you climb in the Ranger with him, and he's just sitting between events. He's still just.
Yeah.
Man, Braxton, I know you got a lot of people you want to thank that helped get you here. The floor is yours, my friend.
Yeah. I mean, as always, my family, my mom, my dad, my grandmother, my girlfriend, my brother, my sister, who's a sheriff's deputy, for not, catching us for doing anything wrong. But especially my, Remington, Bear Pelt, Alamo, Craigoff, all those companies have helped me big time over the years, and I'm very appreciative of it.
Well, they definitely have not only a good shooter, but an outstanding individual in you. And once again, congratulations, 2026 world champion. Does that fit? I think that fits perfect. What do you think, Jim?
Hell yes.
Yes. Hell yes, he says. Well, Braxton, thank you very much, man. I appreciate you spending some time with us. I know we talked there last week, and I mean, the phone was just blowing up, right? And rightfully so, right? But I promised I'd keep it short and sweet with you. Do appreciate you spending some time with us. Congratulations. And man, I look forward to seeing you on the next one.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys. Looking forward to it.
Be good, Brax. Tell Dad I said hi.
I will.
The Dead Pair.
What do you think, Jake? Braxton Oliver, is there an individual in this world more deserving?
Well, there's not a group of people more deserving than the Olivers, right? Like Braxton said, that's a family win.
Yeah.
You'd be hard pressed to find a family that's had more involvement in the game of sporting clays than them. Matt Reese has come to mind. Outside of the Olivers, I don't know if you'd find a family more involved.
I want to give some credit to a couple other people. Gavin Miles was runner-up. Derek Mine was third place. Dylan Thompson was M1. Karen Miles, now that's a husband and wife in the top 5. I don't know if that's ever happened at a world championship. That's very respectable. And then Phil Gray, Eric Harvey shot really well, and Brad Sutton Jr. rounded out M5. Brandon just out of the top 5 for the first time in, 3 years. But yeah, I mean, what an event. I mean, I regret not going. Unfortunately, couldn't make it happen, but That's pretty wild. If you think about that, that's history in the making right there. Husband and wife team, top 5 in the world championship.
Well, and just a lady in the top 5.
Yeah, it's coming, dude. One of these gals is gonna HOA a major like this soon. It's coming.
I'd put my money on Karen.
I mean, well, how would you be wrong putting your money on any of these top lady shooters? There's so many of them now that are just killing it. I mean, for the longest time, Desi kind of held that throne, but now you've got Madison, Karen, Desi. I mean, the list goes on. I don't want to miss anybody, so I'm not going to sit here and name names, but there's a ton of these lady shooters that are just bringing the heat to the guys. They really are. And I love it. I think it's awesome. I think it's good for the sport.
Karen's consistently there, though, so that's what leads me to believe that she'll be the one.
Yeah, and she very well might be, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But, hey, listen, speaking of people, we asked Braxton some people he's got to thank, and we've got people we have to thank, because without them, they wouldn't be able to bring us great guests like Braxton Oliver. Kolar Arms, and just so everybody knows, the Dead Pair raffle gun is coming. I know it's been late to the party, but, I mean, here we are in May already, but they're working on it. I should have that hopefully listed within the next week. So thank you to Kolar Arms, Fiocchi USA. Love me some Fiocchi ammo. Jake, you carry Fiocchi ammo down there at Rocky Creek.
We carry all of Kinetic's stuff.
Yeah, all Kinetic groups.
Mm-hmm.
Ranger, man, I'm telling you what, I am loving these new hyper shots, and everybody that I've talked to that pulled the trigger on them, no pun intended, I know they come with a little bit of price tag, but everybody I've talked to, including Mr. Sean Alley himself, Mr. Large and in Charge, just absolutely loves those things. They are awesome. Atlas Traps. There you go. There was somebody new at the Worlds this year. Atlas Traps sent half of the main was set by Atlas. And they're going to have a course this year at Nationals. So congratulations to them. That's another well-deserved spot. Rhino Chokes. Love me some Rhino Chokes. We're talking to them. There's going to be some big information coming from them soon, so stay tuned. Gun and Trophy Insurance. If you're not insured, if you have a firearm of any kind and you're not insured by Gun and Trophy, you are doing yourself a big disservice. So get over there, talk to Cole Cushman. He can help you out. I'm telling you, you're going to be very glad that you did. Taconic Distilleries. Mr. Jake Spengler, when the tournament's over, there's time for one more shot with Taconic Distilleries. Going to have us a cocktail hour at the Dead Pair Blast by Taconic.
Yes, we are.
Looking forward to that. That's something I am straight up a champion at right there, buddy, some adult beverages.
We can do that, yeah. We're good at that.
Yes. Score Chaser, thank you to the lovely Miss Casey Chase and everything that the girls over there at Score Chaser do for us. We really love partnering with them. Unfortunately, there was no tourney talk this week. We got some tournaments that are getting ready to bust loose, but they haven't quite opened up yet. So we're going to hold off for one more week on announcing those. Long Range, Mr. Neil Chadwick. All of the traps were controlled by Long Range at the World Championship. That tells you right there just how good those things are. So thank you to Neil. Midway USA Foundation. Again, another big announcement coming soon from them. Hopefully by next week, I'll be able to make that announcement. So stay tuned. Oto Pro Technologies. If you haven't seen it yet, I did a video with Dr. Grace while at Texas State. Get over to our YouTube channel. It's under the products category. Check that video out. The lovely Miss Dr. Grace sat down with me, kind of showed and explained some things. We had a couple of guests on, Kevin and Karen Miles. El Jefe Energy. Got a podcast coming out with him along with some other new products. And he kind of tells the backstory on El Jefe, and I think it's worth listening to. I really do. Bear Pelt. Love me a Bear Pelt vest. Your world champion, your current 2026 world champion wears Bear Pelt. And listen, I don't care if you're short, tall, skinny, heavy, it doesn't matter. They got a vest that'll fit you. And cool thing is you get to design it and make it look good. And Slick Products. I've talked a lot about Slick Products. Get over and check it out. Look, I know those of you that have golf carts and buggies and campers and trucks and cars, anybody that washes their stuff themselves, unless you're rich like Jake Spengler and you pay somebody else to do it, anybody that washes those things themselves, check it out. I'm telling you, you'll be calling me and emailing me and thanking me for telling you to check it out because it's good stuff. I use with Slick Products, RE Ranger, and Taconic Distilleries, 10% off your order. Just go to the link down in the show description at both Taconic and RE Ranger. You'll have to put in Dead Pair 10 at checkout. If you follow the link for Slick Products, it automatically takes it off your order. Jake Spengler, I appreciate you joining me, buddy. I know this was a last-minute deal, but I appreciate you taking some time away from the family and joining me on this podcast, man. I really appreciate it.
Yep, anytime, Jake. Anytime to spread the word, my friend.
Yes, sir.
Spread the word.
That's what we're here for. Man, take someone new shooting. Take them to a tournament. Introduce them to Braxton Oliver. I'm telling you, and if you haven't met him yet, go up and shake his hand. He is probably one of the most polite, respectful people you'll ever want to meet. And again, there are no strangers in sporting clays, only friends you haven't met. So take your neighbor, your aunt, your uncle, your boyfriend, your husband, whoever it is, take them. If they haven't been shooting sporting clays yet, take them. They'll love it. And if they have, take them to a tournament. Show them how much fun that is. But hey, listen, the message is the same each and every week. The Dead Pair Challenge is still in effect. I know we haven't talked about it in a while, but it's still in effect. 1 new person a month is the goal. Take somebody new. 1 new person a month. It's not that hard. You're going to go shooting anyway. Take somebody new with you. Jake Spengler, thank you again, buddy. Can't wait to see you here soon. And we can't wait to see you all back here next week on the Dead Pair Podcast.
We'll see you next time on the Dead Pair Podcast.
The Dead Pair Podcast is brought to you by Kolar Arms, the mark of performance, and is fueled by Fiocchi USA. The Dead Pair theme song was written, arranged, and produced by Toby Tomplay. Special thanks to the following sponsors: Atlas Traps, Ranger Performance Eyewear, Rhino Chokes, Long Range LLC, Gun and Trophy Insurance, Taconic Distillery, Score Chaser, and Clay Range Design Works.